Hi, welcome to Wednesday. Yes, it's April 21st and it is snowing like all get out there. Okay, this is one of the letters that I have received from somebody that I have done work for. And she wrote it out and then I added what I remembered to it. So this gal's name that sent this in is Karen, and she definitely very kind-hearted, very caring person. And I had done work for her a long time ago, and then she called me about this particular story. She titled it The Irish Spirit and Dr. John's Dog. Dr. John was an eccentric, deeply intelligent psychiatrist. He taught at Case Western Reserve for 35 years and was in constant practice for 50 years. Late in life, he was plagued with insomnia, colds, extreme fatigue, and he just kept getting more and more ill. So he called me, and I listened to his message, and I knew there was a spirit in his house. I did go to his house, and I was very surprised because, again, he was definitely a doctor, and doctors are very scientific and logical. And a lot of doctors, well, I have to say in the last 10 years it's improved, but a lot of doctors really, this is not their cup of tea. And when I went to his house, I was very surprised because anytime I was on like Coast to Coast or TV or any other radio show, he taped them all. I almost think, being a man of science and a doctor, he was trying to convince himself that ghosts really do exist. When you came to his house, you were met by John's Irish setter and the spirit of an Irish immigrant who had been with John for 10 years, which was affecting his health. Everything, the insomnia, the colds, and the extreme fatigue. Don't forget, an earthbound spirit needs human energy to keep going. And so he was draining the doctor. During the Irish spirit's battle with depression, the Irish immigrant spirit had killed himself after many years battling depression. During the Irish spirit's battle with depression, he had gone to many psychiatrists and none of them could help. After the Irishman was dead, he continued to haunt hospitals and psychiatrists' office, still trying to see if he could find somebody that could help him. One day, the Irish spirit wandered into Dr. John's office and observed him all day long. He was impressed with Dr. John's intelligence, humor, and kindness, so the spirit followed Dr. John home. When the spirit went to Dr. John's house and realized that Dr. John had an Irish setter as a pet, he felt it was a sign that he had made the right choice. When I went to his house, the Irish spirit did cross into the light, but he was very content. Dr. John asked him so many questions, and before I released him, he would go, no, I need to ask him this, and I need to ask him this. And again, I think part of it was trying to connect with, was this really happening? And Karen writes, he was such a dear, eccentric friend that I became his full caregiver because his family, who lived one state over, or the next state, just would never return his calls, and this was the only family he had. When he died, he killed himself because now he was terminally ill and very, very painful disease. When when the police went to his house, he had my business card in his hand. And amazingly, one of the police officers were there, knew me because I had done work for him previous. And so he called me to ask if I knew why. And so I, told him what I had done. I told him the best person to talk to would be Karen. And what had happened is that Dr. John was so thankful for Karen and her help in bringing him food and taking care of him and taking him to his doctors that he left all his worldly possessions and half of his money to me. Well, again, Dr. John's family was in another state, and they found out that he had died, and Karen invited me to his funeral. And when Karen met me at the funeral, I told you that I had learned the family was very upset and were gossiping that I had taken advantage of their brother. Well, Dr. John was, of course, there in spirit form, and he was listening to the family complaining, saying they were going to get an attorney. What right did she have to get half of his money? They were his only relatives. This was disgusting. She wasn't going to get away with it. This is how they were carrying on. And this really, really upset Dr. John. And so he said to me, and again he thanked me that I was telling the truth all the time he had heard me and that I actually could see him. And I said to him, you know what, I'll take care of this. So I went to where the family was all huddled up, and Karen introduced me, and I began talking to them. And Karen left us alone, and I was just talking to them. And I explained to them what I did, how, and that Dr. Spirit was there, and I could tell that they thought I was totally crazy. And the whole time I'm talking to them, Dr. John is saying they're absolute snakes. They are snakes. They're terrible people. All they're going to do is hire a lawyer and try to get the money and the possessions from Karen. This is terrible. So I asked Dr. John to tell me things that only they would know. I needed to prove to them that I was actually talking to their brother. The first thing that Dr. John said was, "Why did you never return my phone calls?" And the first thing out of their mouth was, "Yes, we did, or we never got them. We've had the same phone number forever. We don't know why he never called." And the one teen child that was there just sort of was smirking. And she whispered to her brother, "Oh, there he is, that nutty relative of ours that we never answered his phone when he called." And as soon as the family saw caller ID and who it was, they started laughing. And they never did answer him. And then the police called me on a different phone. They had called his family on his phone, thinking when they saw his name that the family would answer. Well, the family didn't know he was dead, and so they didn't answer the phone. And again, why is that nutty relative calling at this time? Then the police called on a different phone, and that call they answered and found out the nutty doctor was dead. I said, "Do you remember that call from your nutty relative?" And there were a few stories Dr. John related to me, so they knew I really was talking to him. He also said the amounts of money he sent as gifts for birthdays and holidays, they never called to thank him once or acknowledge that they ever got it. The only way he ever knew that they got it because he saw the cash checks. I don't think he would have, but they truly believed me after that. Dr. John thanked me over and over, saying he was so glad he found me. Then he did go into the light. The other unusual thing is during the viewing, which I was there for, they brought his Irish setter to the funeral home. After sniffing around his face, he licked it and just laid down next to the casket, so sad, with his face on his paws. It's like his paws were in front of him and he just laid his pretty little red face down on him. And Karen was very, very kind. She let the snakes, as Dr. John called them, to come with a moving truck and take whatever they wanted from the house. Very, very selfish people, because she did not have to do that. However, after that, they never went to an attorney and they never did cause any more problems for her. A few years after Dr. John died, Karen called about a problem in her house, and she has titled this The Spirit Cowboy. Mary Ann, you came to my house and learned that I had a spirit attached to a horse, which earthbound spirits can attach to anything, including animals. You told me to go to the barn and bring the horse up to the house so you could talk to him. I thought you meant the horse. Karen, I'm not Dr. Doolittle, but you did mean the spirit. You learned the horse came from Kentucky, and you were right. I had gone to pick up the horse in Lexington. The earthbound spirits saw my Ohio tags and came home with the horse because in life, the spirit had actually lived here in this area, and he worked at the ranch where the horse was that I purchased. You know, I'm glad Karen wrote all this and that you could hear this. And I've been to houses to clear, invited to persons' funerals, and seen earthbound pets maybe 1 in 20 times in a house over the years, maybe 10 to 15 times at a funeral viewing. As a matter of fact, on the Zooms that I do once or twice a month, I've even seen them around, their pets around them on Zoom. I've seen mostly dogs, some cats, a couple parrots, big birds, a pet rabbit with a 7-year-old little girl that had died, and the bunny was in the coffin with her. The earthbound owners of these earthbound pets were happy to see them, and they all crossed over with their owners. So when you hear dog's toenails on the floor that has died, or you feel like your dead cat has jumped on the bed, they're probably visiting you. And either way, if they're earthbound or have crossed over, that can still happen with either way. So do look for them in dreams, because your animals will come to you in dreams too. A few announcements. My next Zoom is on Monday, May 17th at 7:30 p.m. And there is a full moon next Monday. So if you've got any earthbound spirits in your house, you will definitely know it between now and next Monday, because they get more energy around a full moon. On Saturday, May 1st, if you are in this area, the Cleveland area, I will be at the Haunted Antlers Hotel in Lorraine from 12 to 3. There'll be a talk, and then we will do a walk around the hotel and see if you can see the ghosts. There will be another event in June, the merry-go-round carousel in Sandusky. And all this information is on my website, so you can see it. It should be a lot of fun, especially at Antlers. The place has got a lot of ghosts in it. 2 quick things. I do not sell loose seeds. I don't have an unlimited supply of them. When I clear a house, which I will start doing more of now that more people are getting their COVID shots, I do give the seeds as part of the job. The seeds go up, but as far as loose seeds, nope, can't do that. You need a seed. You're going to have to buy a charm. There's ones that are less expensive. And again, I do not see anything on computers. Facebook, none of that. My webmaster called and said a lot of people are leaving messages. I do not see them. You either have to call, come on Zoom, or write me. So if anybody else wants to share their story about when I cleared your house or what you found out, my address and everything is on my website. And have a great week, and we'll do this next Wednesday. Bye-bye.